the definition of money. A round of applause.
This is Laura. Good afternoon, everyone. You might not listen to what she said. You might not, please. I'm not actually a man of advertising. My name is Teltlk. Although I would like my work to speak for me than for all those titles. Now, I want to let us have a basic introduction about what Pi and Pi Network is all about. When you're inviting someone to Pi Network, whatever you tell the person matters a lot. You know, most people that join Pi, they were told Pi is like Bitcoin, come and mine when it has value, than cash out. But there is more to that than just cashing out.
Yes, this is
Okay. Now, there are more on Pi Network than just to invite someone to mine and then when it's time you cash out. When I joined Pi Network, I discovered that there was a lot that needs to be realized and understood. Even most people that were invited, when they come to me, I'll be like, send me a screenshot of your homepage. And when they send to me, I'll see a lot of things. Example, one of the things that usually notice is the security circle. It's not up to 100%. And I ask the person who invited you. The person has not actually told you a lot, that there's a lot of things you need to do in order to stand out. So basically, my work has always been to guide pioneers around my reach to understand what they are doing and why they are doing it. Then, for the people that are under me, I usually tell them, if you are ever going to invite anybody to join Pi Network, not just Pi Network alone, but any cryptocurrency blockchain network, first of all, why don't you introduce to the person or tell the person by starting with what is money? At least let the person understand what money is. And then after money, we can as well talk about types of money. And after the types of money, you can introduce fiat currency and cryptocurrency and then tell the person the differences between the fiat currency and the cryptocurrency. And then after the person must have gotten knowledge about the differences between fiat currency and cryptocurrency, you can now introduce the person to what Bitcoin is all about. After being able to understand what Bitcoin is all about, then you can finally introduce Pi Network to the person. Pi and Pi Network are two things. Pi is just a cryptocurrency which is built under the Pi Network blockchain. Okay, without further ado, I'd like us to dive into the introduction of what Pi and Pi Network is all about. By first starting with what money is. I love the fact that our first speaker told us about money. When she came here, she started by telling us about money. But let's just go a little bit inside. This thing is long, or sorry, for people that knows me, those people that are under me, they know that I like to type a lot. If it's too long, I'll just skip some parts and then pick points so that we can move on because I have limited amount of time. We want to talk about money first. What is money? Money is anything with intrinsic value that is generally accepted as a medium of exchange for goods and services. in one of the English dictionary, it describes money as an item of value between two or more parties used for the exchange of goods and services. Now, the most important thing I want you to take note in that definition is that money can be anything. Money can be anything as far as it has value. As far as people value it, people are demanding for it. The sole existence or purpose of money, of course, is to spend it buying goods and services. That is the sole purpose of money. Any money that you have now is either for present or future unexpected eventualities. But in summary, all the money that we have is meant for spending, right? Now, there are various types of money, ranging from the fiat money that we all know, commodity money, representative money, fiduciary money, digital money, or cryptocurrency, etc. But for this particular event, we are only going to focus on fiat currency and cryptocurrency. What is fiat currency? Fiat currency, also known as a paper money, is a type of money that exists in a form of a paper note. You all know what a fiat currency is. It's what we use every single day to buy goods and services. Fiat money is also a legal tender that is generally accepted as a standard means of payment in buying goods and services. In terms of cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency, also known as digital or virtual money, is a type of money that exists only in a computer form, meaning that it can't be seen or touched physically, although it exists as money. Remember that fiat currency and cryptocurrency are types of money. The distinction between fiat currency and cryptocurrency, we can talk about the case of how it is being controlled. The fiat currency uses a centralized banking system. Meanwhile, the cryptocurrency uses a decentralized financial banking system. We have more details into that, but for now, let us move forward. Cryptocurrency is regarded as the next evolution of money, meaning that it's a type of money that will be used in the near future. You can date back to the ancient days when the first evolution of money started, which was trade by barter. In the ancient days, during the trade by barter system, people did exchange goods for goods. That was the first evolution of money. Then we got up to the point that we needed to eliminate the trade by barter system and introduce another form of money, or what we may regard as the next evolution of money. From the trade by barter system, we had the introduction of cowries, we had the introduction of coin, up to today that we have the introduction of fiat currency or fiat money. One of the major reasons why we needed to eliminate the trade by barter system was the issue of double coincidence of wants. The issue of double coincidence of wants. What does that mean? In the trade by barter system, the payment method was not flexible at all. In the case of double coincidence of wants, the Gary seller may want to go to the market to trade things. But at the end of the day, this Gary seller is also going to go and meet someone that is selling Gary who also wants to trade things. Both of them, their needs are now coincidentally the same. And at the end of the day, they'll both be disappointed. So which was why we had the introduction of other forms of money, and of which at which point, at a particular point, fiat currency became a kind of sustainable and agreeable evolution of money that anyone can use globally around the world. Fiat currency over the centuries has been the money that everyone has been using. But you also need to understand that at some point in the near future, we will no longer use fiat currency. It is going to fade away. It's definitely going to fade away. The same way trade by barter faded away, calories faded away, coins faded away. Soon enough, fiat currency will also need to fade away, which is why since the last 15 years ago, since the introduction of Bitcoin, there has been a need from every single person in the world to embrace cryptocurrency, which is definitely going to be the next evolution of money. Now, we thank God for modern days technology, as we now have a type of future money known as cryptocurrency, which in the near future will replace the paper money as the next evolution of money, just like I said. And soon enough, there will be no existence of paper money again, and after the whole wide world will generally and globally embrace and recognize cryptocurrency as a standard means of payment in exchange of goods and services. Now, remember that cryptocurrency is a type of money that exists digitally, only in a computer form, and can't be seen or touched physically. Examples of cryptocurrencies are, we all know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pi, Solana, BNB, and lots more. Now, since we've actually understood what the cryptocurrency is, we can now talk about Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency. Just like I was explaining earlier, the difference between a fiat currency and a cryptocurrency is that in a fiat currency, they use a centralized financial system of which there is a central authority that regulates the use of such money. A few years ago, everyone experienced the scarcity of money, up to the point that a lot of people were lying at the banks to withdraw money. And it's either network or the bank will tell you that we don't have enough money to give to people. Like your own money, you're going to the bank, the big bank, give you money. I used to pass and see people at the bank, and even some of our guys that are into cryptocurrency, we were just smiling, we were just laughing. We were like, this can never happen in the centralized system. This can never happen in terms of cryptocurrency. And which is one of the reasons why fiat currency will fade away. So that we can all be entitled to what we own. We cannot own something and then someone is there controlling it. When we need it, we cannot get access to it. What is the need of even spending fiat currency? Reducing. What do I mean by that? 100,000 naira was able to buy currently, when you started saving the money, cannot buy that same thing in the next 5 to 10 years. Why? Because of various economic effects, or should I say effects, that affect the use of cryptocurrency. And one of those economic effects is inflation, the effect of power of the fiat currency. But in the terms of crypto, the reason is because as per the basis of the blockchain network, every independent cryptocurrency. So every cryptocurrency does not just start today and launch tomorrow, just like all the tapping that we're all tapping. But you know what? I actually love the fact that all the tap swap, hamster combat came into effect. I love the fact that a lot of people were engaging into it. I love the fact that people were engaging into it. How? Because it captured the minds of a lot of people, introducing them to cryptocurrency as a whole, making them to understand what they are coming into. But even with that, most people only were tapping because they needed to see the value and then cash out. They were not coming in to stay. They were coming in because of the money. But even at the line of coming in for the money, this is not everybody that went up. Some people stayed up and did research to gain knowledge about how they can explore cryptocurrency as a whole. Am I right? I'm going to use myself for example. I was not an early starter. When I developed my interest in cryptocurrency and blockchain network as a whole was right from when I started buying it. I never actually had knowledge about this sign up. Although I was in the internet doing research on how to make money. Now an average Nigerian guy, you need to be on the internet to see how you can make money, especially all those investment platforms where you need to invest money. And also at the end of the day, it turns out to be a Ponzi scheme. So I had knowledge about the internet as a whole, but not in cryptocurrency. But when this person sent me the link to join Pi Network, since I have experience in the internet business, when I go into any earning site, what I usually do is, first of all, go about us and read about them, see what they have to offer, or if they have a white paper, you go through it and see their mission and vision statement. From there, you know where it's leading you to. When I joined Pi Network, the first thing I went to the about us page. I think it wasn't day by day, but I saw the white paper and I had to read on it. It was knowledge about what Bitcoin is. Let me use this as a basic foundation for me to introduce myself into understanding what cryptocurrency and blockchain is. Generally, because of limitation, I would not actually like to go back. Now, basically, it does take years for an independent coin to be developed before launching, depending on the purpose of that coin. The purpose of that particular coin. What people need to be tapping is not an independent blockchain. It is like you building, okay, let's just say you want to do this umbrella to the website, establish the do some things and sell. How sustainable is that business going to be? For a very short time, and you can vanish at any point. But an independent cryptocurrency is like a building that starts from its own foundation. And even with that, you can see how sustainable it's going to be. Now, the number one benefit of owning a cryptocurrency is that it appreciates its value as more utilities come in. The number one benefit of cryptocurrency is that it appreciates by utility, I mean the usage, either by the coin being traded and as more demand arises. When Bitcoin was launched, it had little to no, but in today, Bitcoin is worth over $100,000. Has it been up to 50 years of Bitcoin? Or by simply mining the coin right from its source region known as the blockchain. There are various ways of owning cryptocurrency. You can buy from someone, buy from the exchange, or you can be a participant of the network and getting the cryptocurrency freely from the blockchain network. Now, I hope that should give you a The reason why people are mining Pi, for some people who understood it, because it's an independent cryptocurrency, which is gotten directly from the blockchain network. It's not something that you buy. It's not something that you pay money to join. It's just about money, the types of money, fiat currency and cryptocurrency, and what Bitcoin is all about. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and so does Pi. So people are always sometimes confused about what Pi is all about, but they're only told to come in and mine when it has value. Now, Pi is a newly developed cryptocurrency since 14th March 2019. While Pi Network is a Pi cryptocurrency, Pi is a cryptocurrency, a decentralized financial institution that handles the transaction of Pi as a cryptocurrency. The traditional bank works on it. It's a centralized financial institution. So every cryptocurrency blockchain is a decentralized financial institution. It's also a bank. Every cryptocurrency is a bank for its native cryptocurrency. So Pi Network itself, the app, is the bank for Pi. Pi is a cryptocurrency. Remember that Pi Network was introduced on 14th March 2019. That's why we call that Pi Day. Of course, generally in mathematics, the value for Pi is 3.14, which is the 3 stands for March, then 14 is the 14th day, March. So which is why Pi Network was launched on that particular day. And each and every 14th March we do celebrate Pi Day. But the second Pi Day is usually on 28th June. Pi Network comes in form of a mobile application where users can acquire or earn Pi through the process called mining. Usually, newly developed cryptocurrency does not have value yet and cannot be traded, swapped, converted, or withdrawn until it has been fully developed and launched for public use. Which is why over the period of years we were unable to trade Pi until the point when it was finally launched this year, where we can actually go to the exchange to trade our Pi. When we were mining Pi newly, or we introduced people to mine Pi, you know what happened? For people that had knowledge about Bitcoin, people that were already into the system of cryptocurrency, and they were laughing at us. They were laughing, and I can testify to that. They were laughing at a lot of us. You know why they were laughing? Because these people, they already have knowledge about how mining is done. It is not something that you can use phone and mine. It is not possible to use phone to mine cryptocurrency, and then an independent cryptocurrency for that matter. It is not possible. So which is why these guys were laughing at us. They all saw us as jokers, as if we don't know what we were doing. But from my own angle, everyone that was within my reach, I tried my best to make them understood what they were doing. And for people that are in my community, the Pi Life community, those who have been there from the start, they know what I always do. Now, do you know the reason why we are able to use mobile phone to mine Pi as a cryptocurrency? It's simply because of the type of mining mechanism the Pi Network uses, which is actually different, far away, different from the mining mechanism that's used in Bitcoin network. Usually, for you to be able to mine an independent cryptocurrency, you need what they call a mining rig, RIG, mining rig, or also known as a mining machine. Without a mining machine, you are very far away from mining what we call cryptocurrency. But we actually thank God for modern advanced technology. The advancement in technology help us to discover a way how we can mine the cryptocurrency using our phone. Bitcoin uses a mining mechanism known as the proof of work, which actually will require the use of a mining rig. But in terms of Pi network, it uses a mining mechanism known as the Stellar Consensus Protocol, SCP for short, and the Federated Byzantine Agreement, FBA. SCP and FBA is a fusion of the protocol and the consensus algorithm. We are not going into that, but I just want to let you understand that the reason why we are able to mine Pi with our mobile phone is due to the type of consensus algorithm used on the Pi blockchain. And when these crypto guys came to realize how SCP and FBA work, it made sense to them. And at that point, they began to look into Pi. Now remember that the purpose of having money is to spend. So in this case, if cryptocurrency is money, and Pi is a cryptocurrency, then automatically Pi is money. And if Pi is money, remember we said that the sole purpose of money is to spend. Each and every money that we have, even if we don't want to spend it now, we will spend it in the future. So if Pi is actually money, because we, the advanced pioneers, people deeply rooted in the knowledge of what Pi is all about, we didn't just see Pi as a cryptocurrency, we saw Pi as money. We are meant to spend Pi as money. Now, if Pi is money, divert away from the use of store Pi to spend Pi. Just all time. So what we did in the past was, in order to support their ecosystem and increase the value of such currency, which is why in the case of Pi, we are mostly focused on Pi utilities, which will actually add value to Pi. Now let's move further. Since Pi network is a blockchain, I mean by that, a piece of Pi you own is a share of the company. Is that understood? Or should I explain again? A piece of Pi you own is a share of the company. It means you own a share in that company. And for every in the value of Pi, when the value of Pi increases, each and every one of us, as far as we have Pi, the value of your Pi also increases, which is one of the benefits that accrues to everyone in the network. So indirectly, everyone who owns a Pi account is a shareholder to Pi network. Now I mentioned Pi utilities earlier, and someone may ask, what is Pi utilities? Pi utilities in the context of Pi network are simply where, including marketplaces, businesses, platforms, organizations, services, or even apps where you can spend Pi in buying goods and services. And then the second question may be, why is Pi utilities, and why do we actually need Pi utilities? It is simple. The value of anything tradable solely depends on the forces of demand and supply. The value of anything tradable solely depends on the forces of demand and supply. Without people actually demanding for anything of value, it can never increase value. So the value of anything tradable solely depends on the forces of demand and supply. Utility is a major contributor to every modern cryptocurrency. Now, how? By focusing on creating utilities for coin, it brings about a positive network effect, increase in value, ecosystem growth, increase in adoption, etc. Why is all this needed? Because it will lead to a higher 24-hour trading volume, velocity of money, increase in value in a higher market cap. What does that particular statement mean? Utilities drives the forces of demand and supply. Remember that utilities are places where we can spend time buying goods and services. In that case, if we are focused on creating more utilities for pi, we are actually creating a platform where we can increase the aggregate demand for the pi ecosystem as a whole. And when each of the demand increases, the value also increases over time. Pi utilities will help us to increase the velocity of money. Velocity of money is actually the degree at which money changes hands. The degree at which money changes hands, or the degree at which we spend and we spend. What is the effect of the velocity of money in the terms of cryptocurrency? Let's look at that. When people spend cryptocurrency, I wrote about details about how increasing the value of cryptocurrency works. Then I explained in the case of spending 100, I use Bitcoin as an example. It is in the case of spending 100 Bitcoin. In the case of spending, unlike the effect of spending it bit by bit over time. You can do research on that. The effect of spending 100 Bitcoin in just one transaction is very minimal, unlike that of spending it in bit by bit over time. Of course, all of us eat and we use money to buy. But even at that, even as we spend that currency every single minute, it doesn't even add value to it. But can we channel the way we spend that money, the velocity of money? Can we channel it to a cryptocurrency and see what will happen? Spending it bit by bit over time. So this is one of the reasons why we needed pi utilities as a place where we can actually spend money or pi in buying goods and services. We're not saying that you cannot withdraw your pi. Of course, you can withdraw pi and spend it. But what is the purpose of you spending fiat currency if it should not actually yield any benefit or value to you? We are just starting. When we see more utilities coming up, talking about businesses and online platform where we can actually, just like, okay, let's use the case of Teltlk, Amazon, and Jumia. When we begin to have such utilities where we can spend time, instead of you, maybe you want to shop something of 100,000, instead of you using cash, you can easily use the 100,000 naira to buy a piece of pi and then go into the pi utilities or any platform that accepts pi as a method of payment. In buying the same thing you want to buy, you can actually use pi to buy, and then you see that alone will increase add value to pi. So that's why we have the introduction of pi utilities. Although, okay, let's look into this. No matter the total supply of the coin, but with utilities, it can help to stabilize the coin and reduce the high rates or the high level of volatility. Instead of a quick pump and dump and speculative coin. Of course, we all know that every cryptocurrency, getting from Bitcoin, there are some cryptocurrency projects that people, investors, pumping money and close when the value increases, when they withdraw the value comes down. But with utilities, that cannot actually happen. The effect is just going to be very minimal. Now, for this reason, a lot of our utilities has emerged in the past, and more are still on testnet pending approval from the court. There are various pi utilities dating from when financial actually gave room for people to create businesses and also integrate to the pi ecosystem. We have various pi utilities such as the Map of Pi, an app that helps you locate all the shops and businesses that accept pi as payment within your location. Listen, pi utilities are simply businesses, organizations, or platforms that accept Pi, or businesses that are integrated with the Pi blockchain. So one of the Pi utilities is Map of Pi. Map of Pi is an app or a website where you can use it to locate any Pi store locally where you can buy things for Pi. Now, Pi utility is not just limited to online stores. If you have any business, your business can become a Pi utility by you simply accepting Pi as a medium of payment. Don't see that as a loss. Let me tell you that most people actually make money from using Pi as a medium of payment. How is that so? I saw one of my guys that accepted Pi during when Pi was not launched, that accepted Pi, buying his goods and services. And at that point, we used to have black market price where Pi was traded about 200 naira. What this guy does is that, for example, I saw when he sold a particular generator in a bill of 58,000 naira. Particular generator of 58,000 naira. As at then, you add the price tag of that generator in Pi. And if you should convey the value of Pi that you want to use and sell that generator, so that if you pay him that Pi, you quickly go to someone and exchange it and will make times 2 of the real value of that generator. You might make up 100,000 naira. Do you understand that? So it was sense. It was sense. Even now, if there's any business you do, you can accept Pi as a medium of exchange. But you need to understand your own path of accepting that due to the volatility of the coin. So you need to set your price at a particular level that if you want to take out money in stock, you won't be at loss. So by accepting Pi as a medium of payment of your business, you definitely make your business Pi utility. So that we have a lot of Pi utilities from the Map of Pi. We have Pi to Go, a travel agency and logistics. We have Fruit Pi, a gaming app where you can actually play games and earn Pi. We also have Workforce Pool, a marketplace to connect with and hire freelancers around. If you know what Pinterest is, this Workforce Pool is same as Pinterest, where it is a marketplace to connect with to hire freelancers around the world. Now, another major Pi utility is Teltlk. Of course, Teltlk brought us together, and we would like to know what Teltlk is. I'm not going to go into details into that. We have another speaker that will be talking about Teltlk. But I just want you to understand that Teltlk is a decentralized social network designed to work blockchain, which will basically deal with helping innovative startups and businesses by investing and helping them to grow. Such startups or businesses must have high potential in advancing real-world utilities and production. Now, listen. The mission of this Pi, the introduction of the Pi venture, is to accelerate the innovation and adoption in the Pi ecosystem. Through investment, they want to invest in whatever business idea you have. Through investment in innovative startups and businesses across industries, the Pi Network Ventures is designed to boost Pi utilities, capture more productive processes into the network, and then drive Pi integration in real-world cases. What does this mean to us? Listen. If you have a very good business idea with potential of adding value to the network or the Pi community as a whole. These Pi ventures, under the canopy of Pi Foundation, we all know what foundation is from the knowledge of charity foundations. So this Pi Network Foundation now is a platform under the canopy of Pi Foundation, where $100 million is invested to help people, especially pioneers around the world who have business ideas which have potential of adding value to Pi. Those business ideas, of course, has to be a Pi utilities. So what they do is that under this Pi venture, if they perceive your business idea to have enough potential, you'll be given grants. You will be given grants and even capital to start up whatever project you propose to them. So that's what the ecosystem announcement is all about. Just the introduction of Pi Network Ventures, whereby we have any business idea, you can then make it known, and then when they see that your business idea is good, you'll be given grants and then capital to start up. Now, someone may ask, how do we apply to get these grants or capital? Of course, another Nigerian will ask. Even when I made this process, someone asked me, how can we collect these grants and loan? It's not even loan, it's capital. Now, just like I said, that this is just the beginning. We don't actually have inside knowledge about how to access these services here because it is just an introduction. But as time goes on, me personally will have to discover how people can access these services. As far as you have a business idea, then when you access these services, you get grants and capital to start. And then you know that once we're talking about grants or even capital, it is not chicken change. You'll be given enough money to start up that business. And then at some point where, because they'll be watching your business, at some point where that business grows to a certain particular point where it can sustainably stand alone independently, then they may withdraw back because they've established it. They may withdraw back while you move on. Because they are trying to support the utilities. Because once the utilities are live, it's adding to the value of price. And then, you must also understand that at this beginning, the Pi Network Ventures, the investment will only focus heavily on general technology sectors, including generative AI and AI applications, fintech, embedded payments, gaming, e-commerce platform, marketplaces, social networks, and real-world consumer and the enterprise and the whole lot. What that says is that they have a special channel where they want to focus on, including what I've just mentioned. So, in conclusion, if you have any business idea, even if it is an online e-commerce platform or a marketplace, as far as it has to do with integration with that, we also talked about embedded payments. You all know of Flutterwave. Flutterwave, there will be a Pi utility such as Flutterwave, a payment gateway where we can easily transact Pi. So such utility will get grants. But it's not just limited to that. There are other things I've mentioned. Okay. My time, I've exhausted my time. It's taken up almost 1 hour. I'd like to take a bow at this point so that another speaker can come up and tell us more about Teltlk. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chef Eja. Let's appreciate you, please. That was an amazing session. we all learned, right? We all learned something, right? So in the, I don't know, I would love to ask one of the audience, what did you learn from what you said? Just one person. Is that here? What did you get from Shepherd Chat session? Just one thing, something you want to learn.
Good afternoon, everyone. I like so much. I like to appreciate just one part of when I first learned about time. First you time and it's told us my time. And you don't have to invest in it, just buy I don't know just like that. Okay? Just do the big one. So sometime towards our final year, now I kind of appreciate that our project where use currency. They actually showed me the vision and where buy is moving to. When we are moving from centralized exchange to decentralized buy network. Actually appreciated the whole thing. So actually like from shaping that the whole idea and innovative platform that he has actually brought in. I actually want to appreciate and say thank you very much, sir. I've actually learned so much in this session, and it's actually a good privilege for me to understand the whole process of mining and making exchange with different platforms. And then with this business, like with this business announcement and so on, being able to now know that this Pi network is not just something that you can just do in the sphere of something, something that actually can be taken into like business owners, actually and come in and do invest and then come up with something tangible for the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abia, for that insightful discussion and for your insightful contribution. Okay, right now, we're going to take questions. Thank you very much. Yeah, right here. Thank you. So, thank you very much, Mr. Sheffield, for understanding what really money is, why crypto is changing the game. This wasn't just a tech lecture to me. This was a more like a win from home, you know. You explained how Bitcoin has started the journey, and now Pi Network is giving everyone a chance to be part of the future of finance. A round of applause for him. So, we are about to explore a topic that connects our past, our present, and our useless potentials and future from the days when cars were the currency of trade with African markets to this era of digital disruption. What technology is quietly reshaping the continent? And that technology is what is called blockchain. So our next speaker is deeply rooted in the Web3 culture. He's a leader, he's an advocate, he's so many things to many people. And it's such a privilege to have him as our next second speaker. Please let us put our hands together. If you have an opportunity, let's appreciate Human Pi as he comes on stage, please. And he's also the founder of Pi Clubhouse. I forgot to mention that. Give round of applause for that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, sorry, this mic is not working. Good afternoon. Okay, so my boss here is my leader in Alpha Movement. Spoke about Pi Network for a very long time. Honestly, I've never heard someone talk about it. I'm super happy to be here. I'm going to talk about evolution of money, and I'm supposed to talk about Teltlk that we are here. But I'll start from evolution of money. I believe some of us have an idea of what blockchain is, what cryptocurrency is. We don't really have deep understanding of how deeply rooted it is to our daily activities and life in general. So I decided to take a different approach. So I was told to talk about Teltlk, but I feel like I should go back to blockchain technology. Yeah, this is my topic. I don't know what that word is, but from calories to why blockchain technology is Africa's next revolution. Okay, so I believe even if you were not born at that point in time, you have heard of something called calories. It's the form of transaction whereby if you have goods and services, you just give it to someone and then the person give you his or goods and services. That's deeply rooted in what we are going to talk about today, which is blockchain technology. How many of us have remembered something in the sense that back then, if you own a land and maybe someone is arguing with you that you're the owner of that he's the owner of that land, you need to meet your village head. Like he is the one that knows about like every single activity that we do. And a ledger is just very simple, very simple concept. It's something that stores information, is a record that stores who owns what and what belongs to who, or who owes what to whom. So if I have 100 naira now, the only way I can prove that I have the 100 naira is if it's stored in a ledger. I'm explaining the ledger how it's let's get the point here. If I owe you 100,000 naira, like I always actually 100,000 naira, that's I can only prove, well, you can only prove that I owe him that if it's stored in a ledger. And the form of ledger that we have for today's society is the bank. Yeah. So there's this concept in cryptocurrency, like say on X. We say that whoever controls the ledger controls the narrative. Whoever controls the ledger controls what happens. So in today's society, ledger is only controlled by two sets of people. It's controlled by the government and it's controlled by the bank. So if two sets of people control the ledger, definitely centralized, right? So you can't decide what gets into that ledger, but you just have to see it for yourself. If they show you, you see it. If they don't show you, that's there for you. So someone that controls the ledger also have access to it. Someone that have okay, so someone that has access to the ledger controls everything. He can also impose charges. Only bank charges. We are used to it now, but definitely doing something. So you send money to someone, they charge you. Why are you charging me? Because I'm your money. That's you send money to someone. So why are you charging me for my own money? Because they are the one recording it. So definitely they are charging me for that. So, and the fact that you can't even tell, like someone can perform a transaction and it's not recorded on that ledger. Why? Because maybe the person stole money and they don't want it to know about it, they don't want us to know about it, so they don't record it on the ledger and you get away with it and you do nothing about it. And the fact that the ledger is centralized means that you suffer from inflation, just like what Mr. Sheffield talked about. 500,000 naira 5 years ago is not 500,000 naira today. Why? Because the ledger is centralized. That's the problem. That's everything right now. So it's not about if it's naira, it's not about if it's dollars or whichever currency you are holding. Is it centralized or not? And the concept of centralization just doesn't stop with finances. It goes as far as even into governance. So just like the last election, I didn't vote because I felt like there was no need of voting in the last election. But in the last election, if you notice, it didn't really matter if you voted or not. So it was centralized. Someone decided who is going to use our head into governance. It moves our head into governance. It moves our head into even like property ownership. So whoever controls head into even like property ownership. So whoever controls the ledger, just like the narrative, controls the ledger, just like the narrative, controls the narrative there. Like that's the point. So if our ledger is controlled, if the fact that it's decentralized means that each and every single one of us can have access to the ledger. For it to be transparent means that all of us can see it. So it's not just within a centralized body, it's decentralized and anybody that wants to see it can see it. And the last part is that nobody that is not supposed to win. Because it makes it a block. But let's say on what should go on that ledger. If I send money to Mr. Shepherd here on the blockchain, there has to be an agreement. So let me stick with the Pi network to explain this agreement for you. There's something called Byzantine Federated Agreement. It's what Mr. Shepherd was trying to talk about. So let me explain this concept to you. Let's picture this. You are an empire, like an empire here, and you're surrounded by 4 different kings. Let's say this is the empire, is this, and 4 people, 4 different kings with their different armies surrounding. So the concept of Byzantine Federated Agreement says, how can these 4 kings attack at the same time without the enemy in the middle knowing? So 4 of us, we can't communicate with each other. So how do we communicate? The first idea is, we send a messenger. So tell this one, by morning we are going to attack. What if that messenger gets intercepted by an enemy? So that's for this computer to communicate with that computer, perform the block and validate transactions on that. So if this Byzantine Federated Agreement is a mathematical concept. So the way these transactions are validated is that these mathematical problems are solved. So between these 2 computers, the fastest to solve the mathematical problem gets to keep the transaction fee. So normally we pay transaction fees to banks. But if Mr. Shepherd has a laptop and I have this laptop and I want to send money to him, one of us is going to get the transaction fee. And how that's going to happen is we don't need our brain to make that agreement. We need a laptop to make that agreement for us. And that concept of mathematical solving the problem, the mathematical problem is Byzantine Federated Agreement. So that is what makes Pi network blockchain works very well. And for other blockchain, they use other concepts like proof of work, proof of stake, and all of that. But that is what makes Pi network works very well, and that's how we validate transactions. So that eliminates a third party, and that makes the concept of decentralization get to see that this transaction has been validated. And there is something called hash. Let me explain how immutable works in cryptocurrency. So if in this computer science now, if in computer science we have a concept called hash keys, we have nonces, and we have transaction footprint. So all of these contents, dates, when I sent it, who I sent it to, all of these are part of a ledger, by the way. Common ledger has who I sent the money to, when I sent the money, what's the ID that this transaction was validated to. All of that is what is involved in the ledger, bank ledger. So we took that to a blockchain and gave it a different name. So if I sent money to Mr. Shepherd right now, that comes with his own ID, his hash key and all of that, and that is what makes this. So if by tomorrow, okay, let's do this 3-way transaction. So I sent money to Mr. Shepherd. Mr. Shepherd sends the money to you, but he also wants to send that same money to someone else. So there's going to be a problem. You know what? So from here, let's say he sends the money to you, so but he wants to send it to someone else. So the minute he tries to send that money to someone else, this is invalidated. And that is what makes the blockchain immutable. So it's either there's a concept in cryptocurrency called blockchain. So it's either we create a new branch of the blockchain to continue that, and that has to only happen if all of us agree that Mr. Shepherd did not send you the money, even if he sent you the money, and all the laptops agree that he did not send you, mathematically he did not send you, then definitely we are going to create a new branch of the blockchain, and still makes the blockchain transparent, still makes the blockchain not to be tampered with. And that concept is so powerful in the sense that nobody can tamper with the blockchain. You can tamper with the codes, you can try to manipulate if you control the entire set. You cannot contact all of us. In Pi network we have over 100 million. So if 100 million of us have nodes running, we cannot get, the only way, in the sense that they steal your data, so if they don't steal your data, they tell you to take your data, they sell it to other people to make money from it. So that's how open AI. So how do we solve the problem that my voting rights cannot be tampered with? like for no reason. I mean, the worst about transaction is the fact that charging you 100 and if you are into business, each transaction you make more like they charge you so much. How do we solve that problem? How do you solve a governance problem? How do we really solve the problem of trust? Because that's the main word. We don't trust each other, we don't trust the government. Even all of us seated here, when it comes to matter, yeah, we can be a little bit skeptical. So how do we remove blockchain technology? Okay, so in the case of data privacy, how do we solve the problem of data privacy? How do we solve the problem that, except I give you access to my data, you are not supposed to access my data? And this is not a problem that your data is not going to be open to everybody. It's a problem that you don't get to access my data if I don't give you access to it. Everybody can know that, oh, this guy's data is on the blockchain. Nobody can access it except you can access it. So that's when we have concepts like Teltlk International. So it's a decentralized network that nobody is spying on your personal. Like if you are chatting with someone, no one else has to see that conversation. If we have a group chat, let it just be the people in that group. So there's no big eye watching over us, spying on our personal data. That's what Teltlk is all about, and that is how it's taking advantage of Pi network or Pi blockchain. How do we solve the problem that you can actually say you don't need a different app? By the way, you don't need a different app. Like literally, if you are using anybody here using Teltlk app, okay, but if you have the Teltlk app, just try it. I can show you mine now. I've done a lot of transactions with it. The way I do it is like the way you chat with someone. You can send someone like chat like this. You can send someone money the same way. I think I'm trying to do mine and show you. So the same way, you don't need a different app to do that. It's fully integrated into the Pi blockchain. The same way, just like WeChat app. You don't need a different, like it will be shown there visibly to the person that the person has received the money. So the person doesn't have to come and say, oh, I did not receive this money, let's go for them, something like that. It's there on the blockchain. If you click on it to see the transaction detail, see the hash key and every single thing that made that transaction successful. That is what Teltlk leverages on financing. So aside the fact that it's focused on social network and communication and all of that, it's also focused on e-commerce. So I know most of us here don't really have the app, but I do use Teltlk app for e-commerce activities. Like if I want to get something online, I can use the Teltlk app. Right inside there, what else can you do with the Teltlk app? You can send money with it, you can swap like USDT to Pi, USDT to TT, or anyone you want to do, you can do that on the Teltlk app. You can also mine. So the same way we are mining Pi, everybody now confused with Pi network. So you can mine the TT token on Teltlk app. So this is like one of the most diverse. By the way, if you see it here, that it has over 40 million Pi coins in its holding. It's not a Pi network just on there. I think it was that Pi network. I always believe that the Pi chain mod is the big guy. Until I met them, and they told me, look, we have these communities holding over 40 million Pi. They don't want to know how much that is in Naira. Let's just stay there. So that is so much, and over 3 in Pi network. And this is part of their contribution to come out to other parts of the world. Okay, so this is their first entry into the African market, and yeah, I strongly believe that if we believe something in Pi network, it has a huge potential of doing so much. And in case anybody here has any idea that maybe you want to push, just like what Mr. Shade said, I have ideas. I'm a computer. I build out some Pi only on Pi network. So if you have ideas, you don't need to know how to code. You just need to have a resume, LinkedIn account, and just what you want to work on. And pitch it to the Pi core team. $100 million is not small money. Like for real. All of us here, this is one of the best opportunities that each and every one of us have here. $100 million up for grabs for anybody that has an idea and thinks so much in that idea. That's what the Pi core team is talking about. So I believe this thing. Let me tell you something. I believe so much in Pi network. I started Pi network the same time my boss started 2020, and started Pi Club as 2021. So Pi don't have those since I did Pi. I haven't taken any job, I haven't done anything, not because I don't want to do it, because I felt so compelled to do something. And it came like, I have never seen such a thing in my life before. So I need to give my guidelines. So I have to tell you this. There's this concept of 2030. You know, 2020 COVID-19, it was a pandemic. They exposed us to AI, they exposed us to meeting each other online. So if cryptocurrency is supposed to be the next big thing, you don't have to force ourselves to it. Something has to force us to accept cryptocurrency. The same way, even though Zoom was always there, we never cared about Zoom until COVID-19 came. So the same way, Pi Network is here, right here in front of you. Even if you might not care about it, but something will have to force you to adapt it. And it is the concept of financial crisis. It might not be personal, but it's going to be global. Something like that will come about. And there's prediction for 2030. So that is going to be the time that people are going to cry the most and those serious money. So this thing is real. So it's not like mobile phones. In clouds like 2000 era, we had mobile phones come out and mobile banking came with it. So that infrastructure was there for people to use it. And this time around, AI is here. Like, who doesn't use AI here? Like, you have never heard of the word AI. You have never. Okay, you see it. So AI is slowly getting into us, and we don't get it. It's slowly getting into us. It will become part of our daily life. Like, these days I have to force myself to think, because if I have an idea, the first thing I do is want to chat it. So that's what I do. These days I'm like, no, I have to be original, not chat it. But for that to work very well, for the concept of Internet of Things, how many of us have heard of that? For the concept of cryptocurrency to work very well, there has to be an infrastructure, and that's what if you care about your data privacy, I have a solution for you here. If you want to, if you are into e-commerce, or you are not even aware of what e-commerce is, but you want to start, I can introduce you to iChain. If you care about, I saw a guy that created this. So there's Cafe One. I know we are Cafe One now, let me tell you something. There is Cafe One, it's a website, Cafe One page. Someone created Cafe One to work on the Pi blockchain. So there is something like, if you want to use spaces, the guy is not part of Cafe One. All he needed to do is that you really want to book the spaces for you. And that's done with AI. So back here, so let me explain the process to you. So you pair with your Pi, and then the back-end AI stuff does the job for you. And what happens is that the AI is the one chatting with Cafe One. Then the bodies get the space, once get a reservation, and get response from them and give you back. Is the middleman making Pi. So making Pi from Pi chats, making Pi from your transaction, like the extra charge is placing on each using. So if Cafe One is charging like 100K per hour, it's charging like 150 Pi, and it's making money from it. Head of AI, head of blockchain technology. So this point is the times like you don't need to create the original. This is a concept that if you just pick a link, put it there, you need to create the content of the application. It's going to duplicate the exact content of your application. That's what I do most of the time. I don't really create most things myself. I just leverage AI. So if you do that, you can create OPE. You can create the service called OPE and put it on the Pi blockchain. If you need any format of Pi payment, all of that goes and ask me to help you out with that. Put it on the Pi blockchain and make Pi from it. Look, there are people that even if they don't get involved in blockchain technology right now, they will definitely get involved. Whether they like it or not, they will get involved. So you have to be the guy waiting for them. Like, go 5 years ahead of them and wait for them. They are coming. So all these people that feel like Nigeria is on top of their head, relax. They are going to adapt blockchain technology and make money from it. Make Pi from it, honestly. Pi is gotten out of Stellar consensus and Stellar blockchain, sorry. And Stellar is mainly focused on daily activities like this. So it's partnering with MoneyGram, MoneyGram from the payment system out there. So what do? They don't need to suffer you, like you don't need to stress yourself. Just send your Stellar coin to MoneyGram account and you get USDT for it. So it's just like trading F&B activities, or just like I know we have never thought of it, but if you see modern fintech companies now, they make transactions so seamless that you can send money to someone outside the country. How do they do it? It's so simple. You use USDC or USDT, partner with USDT, and make it work. So they don't need to tell you they are partnering with actually send money coins and you can go and say this. Okay, so they don't need to partner. They don't need to tell you that they are partnering with USDC or USDT. All they have to do is make the conversion behind the scenes, and you are the one paying the charges for it. Whereas you have just sent someone USDT, send someone USDC directly, they are charging you for ignorance. That's what they're charging you for. So take advantage of the blockchain technology. We are very new with this. This like Aquarium State is like slowly becoming a take-off. So more of technology is getting into Aquarium State. There are certain skills you need to survive on the Pi blockchain. I'll tell you that. So if you are not into business, seriously, you need to go into tech. Like you need tech. So there's no two ways about it. Either you're on the business side, but if you apply for Pi hackathon, the hackathon program, you have to choose one, business or the tech side. So choose it. Like once you're in business, then business administration, then something like that, and incorporate it into the blockchain. Like look, the world is moving like 10x now of what it was like 5 years ago. So incorporate AI into what you are doing. Learn faster, because nobody's going to wait for you to go to school and do all of that. Learn faster, like for real. I went to school, but honestly, I don't care about my school right now. I'm using AI, like all of the things I know now, I learn it online, like I learn AI, I learn things like that. And it's going well. Yeah, so far so good. Nothing has fault, nothing is crashing somewhere. And it's working. How about the tech side of it? They are free educational materials. Look, YouTube is called a free university. So, you know, you can't go to school, go to YouTube. There are a lot of playlists to teach you on different tech skills. If you want to learn, so pilot so many people of programming languages like TypeScript, Python, many of those tools. So if you want to build on Pi and you care about the tech side, there are playlists on YouTube that will teach you how to build this stuff. There are not videos on how you can link Pi network, but there are people to help you in the Pi ecosystem. And then, honestly, if you don't find it, you just find me. I'm building on Pi. I can help you out. And you build something. Like, you don't need to be a pro in this thing, honestly. You just have to start. 2030 is here, like nobody's waiting for you. And then you see nobody cares about this coming. And that's our future. So I would want to say that before I get now take advantage of my network, take advantage of what is in front of us. It might look like a joke. That's the same way it looked like a joke 6 years ago when we started. And today, everybody's like, look, my network went as high as over 10 million market cap. 10 billion, $10 billion, sorry, in market cap from something you mined with your phone. A lot of my friends, I'm not going to put myself there, a lot of my friends became millionaires like the first week Pi network with like a lot. Like that's the truth. From something you mined with your phone. So what more could come out of this thing? Oh, someone is putting $100 billion in that. So much to ask for right now. So I'd like to stop this way and say, please get involved in Pi network. If you care about more Pi network and Pi education and all of that, the boss is here, you can educate each and every single one of them. If you care about the tech part of Pi network, I'm here, there. Meet that we have, okay, so there is a Discord channel we have for many just people that register with the Pi button. We have a lot of developers you have never seen before. We have a lot of African developers you have never heard of before. There's this guy building Connect Social. I think he's supposed to be here with us. Connect Social is also doing what Teltlk is doing. He's an African guy. Like, there are a lot of Africans building. There's Pi Chain more, not Pi High Mall Metro is based in Lagos. It's the biggest mall in Nigeria in Pi Network. King of Pi, I don't know if you guys have heard of that guy, but it's very famous in Nigeria. So King of Pi has a mall. If you check Pi Hackathon, he has over 200,000 votes. This mall. And he's going to win 5.5%. People are building, so don't think like, oh, it's only the white guys building. Like, we are here. So thank you so much for listening to the show.
Thank you so much, Juman Pai. Okay, honestly, so we are Juman and Juman Pai rather. We attended the same school together, and I've known him to be a very timid, shy, and reserved person. Hopefully to see him displaying all what he did here, I mean, I am impressed. Not one person. I am shocked. I am shocked to my good marrow. Thank you so much, you know. Thank you so much for that wonderful insight. So, it's going to be a girl this time around. What did you learn from this Juman Pai? It should be a girl, my gender. You guys cannot afford to show me to say, okay, a lady, a woman. What's the difference? Like, what did you learn? Like, this is like your take-home lessons from all that Juman Pai has said. Okay. Thank you very much, Juman Pai.
When I started mining Pi, I just like Shepherd said, it was just mine. When they launch, you sell off and then make money. It's not all about mining. There are so many things to do on that blockchain. So many ideas. If I have an idea, don't look at me and say, this woman, even though I'm in my 40s, but I'm still a very young person. So, my brain should be up and I should make use of AI. Though it's only Meta AI that my children have taught me how to use and ask questions, but I have to. He has told me more things to do with AI, not just cracking my brain alone. So I really appreciate it because that is a little spark. And that little spark is going to burn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, the next in line, what we are doing next is that we are going to be washing that one. And I'm going to be putting it on one time. I'd like to have someone, let's appreciate the environment.
Not 5 years old is sleeping now. This is unique. So that's what I'm trying to do now. It's so important. He has never spoken first to me. These are things like honest. So honestly, I'm super excited.
Is she? Round of applause to
Yeah, that's okay.
And while we are waiting for that, we have a who like entertainment, like in charge ourselves. So sit tight, wait. Thank you very much. Come for me now.
I'm Jen. Point out, I have a communication practice, so I'm going to take a lot of notes on what we're talking about today. But I would love to start with you. Just give us 20 seconds if you want. Yeah. I'm the CEO of Near AI. Near AI has an option of your protocol and so on. We're focused on building a framework for AI agent hosting, for agent review. I'm co-founder and CEO at Ready AI. We're focused on structuring all the world data and making it universally accessible. Functions, Pi Network, and technology. Pi Network is a social network with 70 million people with its own embedded digital card, Pi. People have been mining for the last 6 years now. With using, have been creating an app where it's activated as identity verification. Right, so I want to start with, and you can give me a really short answer, is in the world that each of you are playing, when you decide AI, I want you to give me kind of the analogous place we are in the technology spectrum, right? So if we could go YouTube video, are we still in the VHS era? So when it comes to what we're doing. So let's start with you.
So that's a good question. So I think that every time in history there is technologies that are being invented, and then there is a little bit of lag in time when they are invented and they are actually being massively used. Sometimes it's very loud and very clever. In the same way that when electricity was created, not every house had it.
Yeah, I think a lot of this. I sort of feel like we're in the kind of mid-90s of the internet. But one big difference is there's massive distribution, right, that's been laid over the last 25 years since then. And so I think because of that, you see rather than for doing it in record time, and that's because distribution is now dramatically different than when it is now. And I think it's
I love it all. The one I like is, remember when the iPhone came out in the 50s? The apps were on there. Like, oh my God, this thing where you drink a beer.
I think it is really important to have more of a trust.
Like we're still like unfrightened about what's going to happen in the same way that I survive. Right? I want to get the AI, but I'm very scared of what it's going to do when it stops asking for information. So as you guys are building your system, how are you putting into place the guardrails that allow you to AI to thrive without letting it do the things you don't want it to do?
As well. And of course, the blockchain provides a fingerprint because for agents it's difficult to access fresh arms, but stable.
Very useful, especially when you want to distinguish and what are the three things that you
Yeah. Well, I think also just going back to for users, I don't think there are necessarily characteristics.
These reasons are actually based on the kind of ID document or information we provide. since the validation process, the KYC validation process involves human validators and then the machine validators, in the process of validating every KYC, there are 4 human validators in the process. Now, if the same document is passed to the second human validator and this person contradicts what the first person should, now he's going to look